small town, and behind me is the YOHO grocery store. But there is something we are going to show you later on that Ed is so excited about.
Why in the world would you come down to a little town like this to see one thing? You'll see later on here. We are right at the side of the railroad here, and we're at the YOHO General Store in Salisbury. Nancy's going to go inside and we're going to see what they got in here. Not much here in this little town, right along the side of the track at the Indiana Railroad Company. This is an active railway that's used. It's not heavily traveled, but it is an active railway that's used. And about the only thing in this little town of Salisbury is the YOHO General Store. The store's been in operation for quite some time, so Nancy's inside. We're going to catch up with her. Just in the store talking to the lady in there, and her uncle actually owned this store back in the early 1900s, and the store was in operation till about 2006, I believe she said, and then it sat empty for many years. In 2012, the Cook family from Cook Medical actually bought this. They are involved in a lot of historic preservation in southern Indiana, namely the most famous one would be the resort there, French Lick, and the West Baden Hotel. They've poured a lot of money into preserving small town history around here. But anyway, they bought the store and kind of turned it into a little restaurant and everything, so people that come to view other things and take this drive through southern Indiana can actually come here and eat. So anyway, that's the story on it. I was not able to do much talking inside the store because of the fact that they are playing music in there, and I didn't want to get a copyright strike, but hopefully you got to see a little bit of the inside of the store. It's a lot of history here in this little town. This was once a thriving town.
Well, we made it to our destination that we were telling you about earlier. It's the Tulip Trestle, and this is the observation deck, but you got to see the sidewalk to get to the observation deck. Ed is so excited.
So I had a good friend. His name was Joe. He's since passed away. He had a motor car, which was a little car that they used to repair the lines on the railroad, and he would take that like twice a year down here to this trestle.
He belonged to a club.
He belonged to a club. The club would open up and they would take this rail line, and so he always wanted me to go with him, and I regret not going about it. And I got to thinking about it and decided I want to come down here and look at this trestle. So it's my understanding this is the third largest trestle in the world, and I think the second largest in the United States. I'm not quite sure on my facts about that, but
who would have known? Because you can't get internet here.
Yeah, who would have known that one of the largest trestles in the world is right here in rural Indiana?
Who knew?
We're going to walk around, take a look at it. So in case you're wondering, this trestle is still in use today. It's just a short railroad, Indiana Railway Company, I think is the name of it. It's mainly used for hauling coal out of southern Indiana, but they have other rail cars that ride on it also. Last I heard is like 6 trains a day or something cross here. This trestle has been in use since 1906. May of 1906 is when they completed the construction of it, and it's still in operation. The interesting thing is the trestle has had 3 owners over that span of time, but the land that it crosses underneath it has been owned by the same family since 1906. So it's interesting, the history of the area and the fact that, you know, these structures were built to last and it's still here today. Got this really nice observation area set up here at the side of the road. So, I mean, keep in mind, we are out in the middle of the country, but they've got a little deck built out here with some picnic tables, and you can sit here and observe. I imagine that when the train comes by, it'd be pretty popular. I thought we'd be the only people here today, and there is a lot of people that come out to take a look at the trestle. 2 little dogs here, a basset hound that comes and they beg for food from people, so they must be from one of the surrounding areas. They spend the whole day out here just begging for pets and food.
Standing under this is quite amazing. Oh my word. Look straight up.
She's not really a train nut like I am,
but this is cool.
We're enjoying this. We thought that we would come down here today and we'd be the only people here.
Wrong. Like 3 other cars showed up.
There's a lot of people looking, so it's quite popular. People want to come down and take a look at this, the Tulip Trestle, they call it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So this trestle is only wide enough for the train. So if you were to step off the train or whatever, you'd fall right down onto the ground. The story goes, in the early 1900s, a gentleman, I don't remember his name, but anyway, he was on the train. They didn't have 2-way radios back during that day, and what he done was the train for some reason had stopped on the trestle, and because it was pitch black, he had no idea that they were on a trestle. And the story goes that he stepped out in the back to take the lantern out and, you know, let everybody know that the train had stopped. And he took the cigarette out of his mouth and flipped it off and noticed that it fell like 150 feet to the bottom. And it actually saved his life, because if he would have jumped off the step of that caboose, he would have fell this whole way. So there's a little placard up there with him telling his story and everything. So I thought it was pretty interesting. They got all kinds of warning signs that, you know, there is no path or anything like this. So if you fell off, if you get on there and a train comes, you're gonna fall off. So anyway, lots of warning signs.
Ed has found a sculpture trail, and we're not sure what it is or how it got here, but we are going to go and see what we can find. See the sculpture behind me? I think there's more on this trail. Let's go see. The sculptures each have a number, and then in your guide you look it up. So this is a box turtle, and it was made here in Indiana by William Pratt. So anyway, that's what we're doing. We're walking along and just seeing and looking them up. One's here from England, 2, 3, huh? All right, so we're gonna keep going. The trail's really muddy, so I'm not sure how much I will do, but let's go see. You know me, I love rocks. So rocks and iron is all, oh, there's like a concrete foundation at the bottom. This is so cool, and it's hollow in the middle, so I guess this iron stuff is holding everything up. Pretty cool here.
We almost walked past this sculpture if they didn't have the number there. We're looking at, it's a little, it's just a piece of iron sticking out of the thing. It's called The Moment.
From
Okay,
Kentucky.
somebody from Kentucky made it. I don't understand the meaning of it, but hey, it's pretty cool that it's here.
"101" is a slice in time. It's also from Indiana.
Interesting sculpture called That Wrens Make Prayer. I think it's interesting in that everything is kind of like loose. So they got these angel wings on this ring, on this base. Somebody in Illinois made it. So this is on, from what we understand, this trail is on private property, and people just bring sculptures here and they put them on the hillside, and they got a little interpretive trail. It's kind of like a private organization. The wings are pretty cool, and you know, today's really nice, so we're having a good time just walking around looking at these sculptures.
We found the ones from England. So number 4 over here is Floating Weight. This one right behind me is Weight in Tension. And then that one is Wedge and Columns. And they're all 3 from England. Just in case you don't understand. Oh! Start over. Just in case you don't understand, wedge, tension. There you go. The area we're in right now is the Iron Works exhibit. So they're all made of iron? I think so. Take a look.
There's so many sculptures in this park, it's just impossible to point out every one of them, but there's one up here that kind of caught my eye. It's like maybe a coyote or a wolf that they've got right up against the rock there, and it kind of looks like he's coming out of the den. I'm going to try to hike up there and let's take a look at it. I like this, how they took this natural setting of this rock and everything sticking out of the hillside, and then they put this wolf there where it looks like it's coming out of the den. Yeah, there's so much to see here. I don't think we're going to see it all, but it's fun just walking around and seeing what we can.
Knowledge has no blind side. This one's from Wisconsin. And look, there's 151 of these in this park thing. We are not doing all 151. You guys will just have to come here and see it for yourself. It's somewhere in the southern part of Indiana. I have no idea where I'm at.
Oh, look at this one. I can really appreciate this. So they took a bunch of steel cabling and they wove it all together like a basket. There's one here and there's one down there. And I can really appreciate all the work that went into this and the thought and planning. I mean, to have a vision to make something like this and then actually carry it out, I think is very creative. This place is massive. Now, like Nancy mentioned, there's just no way we can show you everything. We'd run. You could spend a whole day here walking up and down the hillsides. It's quite muddy today, so we're just going to give you a sample of this place. But as you look out through the woods, you can see all kinds of sculptures from really around the world. People have brought stuff here and placed it. There's no admission charge to this at all. They ask for a donation at the beginning. But you can see there's a shop off down the hill there where the people that own this land actually do some sculptures themselves. But it's just amazing that this is here. We seen a spring coming out of the side of the hill up there a minute ago, and they had a pipe running down to their house. That was pretty interesting. But I mean, all this land here and all these sculptures is, you know, as far as you can see out through the woods. So it's a nice walk through the woods. I wish it was a little bit warmer, and I wish the trail wasn't so muddy, but I think I'd like to put this on the list sometime of coming back and seeing. So I seen a sculpture from the distance down here that I'm trying to make my way to. It was rather large and it just caught my eye. I'm actually just walking past all kinds of other sculptures, but this one caught my eye. I'm going to take you down there and show you. Oh, wait a second. Here's one. Here's another one over here that I got to show you. It's not very big, but boy, it's very unique and very creative. I'm going to walk up here and show you. Look at this one. Who thinks of this stuff? So there's somebody's legs here, and there's just a couple hands with the wrists attached to them sitting in a chair. It's really caught my eye, and I want to come over and take a look at it. One of the things we were remarking about as we were walking along is that all day today we can hear the peepers. So it must be, I mean, we're hoping that's a sign of spring, right? It's the first part of March here in Indiana. And I mean, I'm only fooling myself if I think winter's over. But it's great today hearing the peepers going. Trail's a little muddy here, so I gotta pay attention to what I'm doing, but I'm almost here to this big sculpture I want to show you. Okay, here you go. Here's the one that caught my eye. I was way up the hill up there. I looked down there, and from a distance it looks like flying saucers flying through the trees, but it's pretty cool. It moves a little bit in the wind, and so it has some sort of movement to it. So as the wind blows around it, it's really cool. So we're in this big field here, and there's a couple other larger sculptures in this field, and it's definitely an enjoyable walk to look at. I see a couple more big ones up here. I'm gonna walk up here, and then I'm gonna make my way back to the van because I got some other things I want to look at today and don't want to run out of daylight, but certainly it's worth taking a look at here. On the property here, you can see they have a workshop where there's just all kinds of treasures stacked up around there. You can see he gets a lot of industrial iron in here and is able to build things out of it. I kind of looking down through here, I see they've got a broken tree there. It looks like they're doing something with, and so this must be the area where they get their inspiration. And there's a sign on the thing there. It says that you can build your own sculpture. So maybe it's a little bit of a workshop. People come down here and learn some things too. Like I said at the very beginning, we don't know much about this, but hey, we made it back to the van.
We have no idea still what this is or where we are, but when we figure it out, we're going to let you know. But that was pretty interesting.
So I would say that probably a lot of people would criticize us for not researching the area very well. But one of the things with what we're doing is if you don't spend a lot of time researching and you just like enjoy the moment and the spontaneity of it, I think it makes things really enjoyable. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't go back and research it a little bit later on.
But to go through the countryside like we were in Sculpture Trail.
Yeah, just see a sign and go do it.
Yeah, so that's what we did here.
I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, we'll do some more research maybe.
Ed's a little out of breath from climbing up that hill.
Okay, so I climbed down to the bottom of this big ravine because I want to get a shot of something. Whew, a little bit out of breath, but it's just a nice day here in Indiana. We're going to jump back in Jack and go see what else we can explore.
We're at McCormick's Creek State Park at the Canyon Inn, and we're going to go have some supper, and afterwards we'll take Herky for a walk.
Man, it's been a great day traveling through southern Indiana, looking at all the sights in these little bitty towns and
itty bitty.
The big Train Trestle. That was one of my highlights today. Thanks for watching our videos. We really appreciate it. If you don't mind, subscribe to our channel so we can keep putting out this content. I hope that you enjoy it. For right now, it's time to eat and take Herky for a walk.